Do you want to say it, or do I have to say it? Or do we just say it
You
what's on
you
our
say it.
minds
Say it.
together?
You say it.
Oh, do I say it? Damn. Travis Hunter is a Jacksonville Jaguar.
I think we needed the week to let the aura wear off a little bit because obviously I knew we didn't hit up our pre-draft pre-week pod, had a little bit of a break, so I thought we really haven't talked about everything. But yeah, so draft happened and Travis Hunter is a Jaguar.
They got the number one guy on their board. I mean, what else is there to say? They think he's going to be the generational player that he could potentially be, barring injuries. Like the whole experiment of playing both sides is going to happen. The Jags have just reiterated that time and time again. And you know what did James Gladstone say? He doesn't have the talent just to change a football team, but to change the sport of football itself. I mean, that's just pretty,
You know, when you hear
pretty
that,
high
it's hard
praise.
not to get excited.
It's really not. I'm waiting for Nike to release the limited jerseys. I want the Stitch 12 and the throwback. Like I need that like
John,
suit.
when I'm telling you, when they drop the throwback Travis Hunter Prowlers, that is going to sell like crack in the 80s. It's going to sell out. So if you thought BTJ jerseys were hard to get, it's going to
Oh,
be impossible
that
to get.
limited one when they have the Stitch. I mean, it's already have it on sale for the normal jerseys, but once you see that like Prowler and the Stitch limited, I it'll be hard not to me for me not to like drop $170 right then and there.
But yeah,
180 probably.
let's just talk about obviously the elephant in the room, and that obviously they had to do the trade up. I don't think anyone really cares. It's just like everything feels just has felt different since that draft pick. And I'm trying not to exaggerate, but I remember even on draft night, because my one of my friends was in town, and actually he actually saw Travis Hunter play at UCF.
Hmm.
And so when Colorado plays, so he was even telling me about that game, and he was saying because there were a lot of rumors were coming out, and the night before the draft, they're saying the Jags are getting aggressive for the last 24 hours heading up to the draft. So obviously, there's so much smoke that you don't know what to believe. I kind of was still thinking of in my mind, they're probably just going to take Mason Graham at 5. That was my logistic. I wasn't mad at Genty. I was just it makes the most sense. But if I just didn't see the Browns actually trading out of the pick more so than anything. I thought they were just going to stay. Which for the Browns front office, I understand why they want to trade. I'm not going to pound them for it. Although I just remember there was another trade when Atlanta traded up with the Browns and they got Julio Jones at 6 and they spent a future first round pick. Granted, different circumstances. I just think about that trade where the Falcons gave up an extra first and some other drafts for Julio, but who's Julio Jones? So did anyone really care? So the Browns could draft good players with the picks. It's just like for the first time in a long time, I think this is literally the only thing that is missing from everyone just being fully on like super excited is just the throwbacks. Because in terms of how to revitalize a dead fan, not dead fan base, but a fan base that was emotionally dead after the past few years of Bulky, and just considering that Shad Khan and Trent Bulky was employed like January 17th. It wasn't that long ago that Trent was literally employed, which is just crazy to think about. Because if you just think about everything they've done in the past 4 months, not even four, just the past 3 months, from firing Trent, hiring Cohen, then you get Gladstone, you trade up for Travis Hunter. Everything they've done has just felt as such a complete revitalization to a franchise that really needed like new juice. So it's hard not to be excited, which is scary.
And that's the thing. The last time we said all of this about a football player joining the Jacksonville Jaguars was Trevor Lawrence. The only difference this time, instead of, Urban Meyer and Trent Baalke, we go from Liam Cohen and James Gladstone, who both have actual handfuls of experience in the NFL. Barring different levels of success, Gladstone winning a Super Bowl inside that front office for the Rams, maybe not as a number two guy, but he was in the building when that did happen. What did they learn from Les Need? Being aggressive for the guys you want, whether that's in the draft or guys outside of it. Like Les Need, notoriously traded for guys like, Jalen Ramsey that, eventually got them that Super Bowl that they want. They got aggressive. And when they did think they didn't see any future with Jared Goff, they went on to get Matt Stafford and won a Super Bowl immediately. Like these, he learned from a system that don't be afraid to take guys you think that is going to elevate your floor outside of the NFL draft. And once that draft when the draft comes, then you go ahead and elevate your ceiling. And what bigger ceiling push there was there in the NFL draft than Travis Hunter? And also the most intangibly rich for that matter.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know for the coaching staff, you can watch the film and say, yeah, this guy's a great talent. But even in terms of what they were looking for, an intangibly rich, a player that wants to play on both sides of the ball, that wants to compete, a guy that loves football. You hear them talking about the conditioning, the work that he puts in to be this great it's not just a great athlete, it's the even high Q and how he's studying and being in both rooms. Like, to me, there's no more intangibly rich player, not even in this draft, but just like to me, this is the perfect way to, as a GM, just to have your first draft pick is tied to Travis Hunter, not only because of just the talent, but so much of he embodies a lot of what Gladstone's looking for. I don't think there's really a better player to start your draft to than, the guy who literally won the Heisman playing both sides of the football. And the Jags talked about is going to be a wide receiver first. Sorry, I'm babysitting a dog in the background. Funny enough, the dog's name is Jackson. So,
Works out, Jack's podcast.
but Jackson, come here. Introduce
Yeah, I
Jackson.
love
We got
it.
Travis Hunter.
That's crazy. He looks so confused, like, where am I? I love
But
it.
yeah, man, it's just the fact that for the first time, not only did they rebuild, start the rebuild with Travis Hunter, but honestly, I don't think I've been this excited about a draft pick since Jalen Ramsey, and just bringing that same kind of like swagger. Because one thing about Ramsey is that you knew where he was at all times, even though for a corner, sometimes it's better to look the other way, just because he always brought that aura to the team. And it's different. I think Ramsey was definitely much more of a, competitive trash talker. Travis to me just gives off that positive, I don't want to say ray of sunshine, but he definitely just brings literally just positive energy around. Like he just seems, even just the way he's dancing on stage, the way he's always smiling. Because you knew Travis basically is always smiling. And even just how excited he is to be in Jacksonville, you can definitely tell that he's going every day he's going to be in the office, that he's just going to be a good teammate, but also just going to push everybody to be the best person that they can be. And man, it's like it's just crazy because I thought before the draft that Travis Hunter talk was just dead, so I didn't want to think about it. But I said in my head that this probably was the best fit for him to go to, but also considering that he was born in West Palm, grew up in Atlanta. He's played in the Southeast pretty much outside of the last 2 years in Colorado. So for then him to also stay in the Southeast, and he talks about how much he loves going fishing and going fishing in Cleveland versus going fishing in Jacksonville basically year round. I know just for him personally, he must be thrilled to play in Jacksonville. Not that I don't think he would have not given it his all in Cleveland, but I feel just in terms of the closeness, the fact he doesn't have to be far from his family. I remember was watching a YouTube video, and then he was saying he's now that he got drafted, he's gonna go watch his brother's college games, so now he can, keep up with family, go fishing. And he already knew Trevor Lawrence before, so they got a little bit of connection. Man, we're going to see Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, and a Liam Cohen offense next year. And that's not even obviously we'll get to the rest of the draft, but they added new running back juice in the room, got new O-line depth. Like this offense, if Liam Cohen, I just if Liam Cohen is what he's supposed to be, and at the very least you have Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter, there's no reason you can't get a top 10 offense. Unless the offensive line just completely gets worse, which I'm not saying it can't get worse, but they tried to make it better. They didn't just try to run it back. So if as long as Liam Cohen and staff are what they're even 70% of what they're supposed to be, then the rest of the pure talent should see its way through. Because this is the best wide receiver room Trevor has had. Like literally, obviously we haven't seen Travis play, but in terms of wide receiver duos, just based off potential, I don't know how many other teams you would realistically take over Jacksonville because you already have a proven number one do-it-all guy in Brian Thomas. And now you have another crate. We didn't see Travis test, so we don't really know his speeds. But now you have a situation where Travis Hunter doesn't have to be the best receiver on his team at all times, so he can, get that development as much as he can, but doesn't have to be force fed to him. But he also doesn't have to be the best corner on his team. So just everything with his development as a two-way player in terms of the landing spot, how he's going to be in the offense, like, dude, it's just, are we dreaming?
think we're still here. I'm still
It
here.
just, it just doesn't make everything just feels so good on paper, which is kind of what scares me because the game isn't played on paper. But at the same time, just we know how good BTJ is. And we've only really seen the con like first I was just sort of excited for your two of BTJ and just getting a solid number two. And now instead of just getting a solid number two, we have Travis Hunter across from him. So if BTJ is double covered on one play, then we can have Travis Hunter one on one. I don't know why it's blurring my hat so much, sorry.
I don't really like your hat today. That's crazy.
But yeah, now instead of just, which no disrespect to the other guys, but instead of having, I feel even if they drafted a receiver and he was a number two, the room would have been pretty good. Now it's potentially at okay, we're at we can make any quarterback look good with this wide receiver duo. We haven't had that happen. I mean, it's probably the closest we've had since Allen Robinson and Earns for that 1 year, but hopefully, no disrespect to Allen Hurns and Rob, but I think those guys have higher ceilings, especially, if Travis Ponder is the wide receiver too. I don't want to say the next Keenan and Jimmy, but
Hey, there's reason to be finally excited. We've been kind of just gushing over Travis Hunter, his love for fishing, his love for football, his potential on both sides of the football. We didn't even get to like the defensive side, but first because we think he's going to be primary wide receiver, and then
but
to kind of
I
come
still
in.
think he will play, which honestly, I'm not even mad he's going to play more offense because points are fun. So
Yeah,
I do
and
think that,
I'm
sorry, I mean, to cut you off.
very curious how training camp and preseason's gonna go because that's a very good indicator. Like, are they just gonna have him focus at like even preseason games are exciting because you're like, okay, is there gonna be one preseason game where he just focuses on like wide receiver? Is there just gonna be a preseason game where he focuses on corner? Like, are they just gonna try and go out both sides on the first like two or three, four drives in the preseason? Like, I wonder what the usage is even going to be like even in August. So that's just even like exciting to think about. Just having something that has never been done in the NFL before and coming to a big storyline that just create national headlines, will give us national television games, and it brings the attention back to Jacksonville, despite the crapshoot that we've suffered since December of 2023.
23. Man, I just can't wait for the training camp out just because. He literally can, in one training camp day, can go across from Brian Thomas Jr. as a corner, but then also trying to beat Tyson Campbell as a receiver. So those two could just be so great for his development, just being able to learn from two
Does he
already
have to
vet.
swap practice jerseys, or does he just have to wear like the half and half? Does he just go full
That
aura?
is a good question, actually. Yeah, if he's just gonna stay, because I can't I know for a fact that Travis. I feel Travis is going to ask to try to cover BTJ in training camp, and I can't wait to see that because you know, which I think it makes more sense that if they think Travis is already better or is the road is easier for him to climb as a corner than a receiver, just because as a receiver you have to do so much of technical route running. With corner, he already has the instincts. So, but and it's crazy just because, like, for the first time in a long time, probably. I know with Trevor, people a lot of the rookie year and after the playoff win, Trevor was supposed to be that guy, but just having another guy who people are actually national media is focused on. Like I saw him in an NFL commercial literally the night of the draft. Even though we didn't know which team he was going for, he was still in the commercial. So I know they're going to talk about just NFL, just Travis Hunter, the first time he plays. He's just for the first time in a long time, the Jags have had a player that other fans of teams want to watch, which is crazy. Because when is the last time he's like, oh, like this player's really cool? It gets, I even, I know we both kind of have some stories, but literally the day after Travis was drafted, I went to Disney World with my friend, and I literally wore this same Jaguars shirt to Disney World, and then I literally was in line at for one of the Star Wars rides. I think it was Smuggler's Run. And then one of the workers saw my shirt and he said, "Whoa, man, your team's going to be sick next year. Your offense is going to be crazy. All those weapons." And he even said Duval at the end. And literally, if they would have drafted anybody else, that interaction doesn't happen. So it's just crazy. Even just Travis Hunter has literally increased the aura of this team. I,
Yeah,
I
like
This Jack's social media. Honestly, I think the biggest winner out of all of this is probably Shad Khan. Because just the getting such a national star on a small market team is going to do wonders for just how much attention is going to be on the Jags. So I mean, if it's good, hopefully, for Shad Khan and it's all good, positive attention, then this is really going to Travis by himself just might make the Jags one of the more watched teams. And hopefully if Trevor takes that next step, you have BTJ, then this offense, people are going to say, hey, this offense actually looks really fun on paper. So the Jags' social media followers is going to get a huge boost.
yeah, and my personal story is since I was over the since from Monday to Thursday, I was going to Atlanta for the Kendrick Lamar and SZA Grand National Tour show. And so on the way over, we took a pit stop in Valdosta, which is like 2 hours away, drove through the Panhandle to get to there to get some lunch. And the one of the people that work in the back saw me wearing my Jags hat and one of the Bold City Brigade shirts, and I was like, "Man, you must be really excited about Travis Hunter." And I was like, "Yeah, man, it's gonna be very exciting. Like you said, the energy is back in the fan base a little bit after some of the terrible football we've seen over the past year and a half." You know, whether or not it comes to fruition, who knows? It's the NFL and anything can happen, but the energy and excitement is here. People want to see what Travis Hunter does in a football field in the NFL. It's going to be one of the biggest stories going into the league this year. So, and that's on Jacksonville's burden, and that's on Liam Cohen's burden now since they get Gladstone gave the capital. Now it's Liam Cohen, Grant Udinski, and Anthony Campanella's job to make it work now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel for Travis on offense, he has a pretty relative path to seeing a good rookie year. I don't want to put exact numbers, but even just him being the number two target from BTJ, him just starting off with, even if he doesn't have to run crazy routes, even if Colin's just like, I want to get the ball in his hands, guys, quick, and he'll make people miss, he can still do that, especially if he's the second option and BTJ is stressing out opponents. And even, they try to double cover BTJ, you get Travis some good screens, get him some good running space opportunities. Or, obviously he can be a good red zone threat too with the contested catch. So even if BTJ is open, Travis is also could be open too. I think his path on offense, huh, if Cohen is the guy we think he is, which if we're just based off what he did with Tampa before Chris Godwin's got hurt, both him and Mike Evans are doing a lot of great things. So, we might see Travis playing in the slot, him getting some screen. Might see just Travis and Mike and BTJ basically just being that same duo, which if you get a younger version of those guys would be crazy. So we know Cohen can do it. Obviously, just as a head coach, the expect increase. We'll see if the play calling levels. How does it look? It's no one really knows until it knows. But I think Travis just on paper, rookie year, offense should be pretty solid. Defense, obviously, it's a much more, we don't know how it's going to look fully. My guess is maybe they try to have some third down packages. You know, I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do. Have some guesses. We'll try to see closer to training camp. I think even just as long as he's pretty good on offense and gives them a really good number two across from BTJ early on, then even for a rookie year, then that's you're not complaining because then the offense is looking really good.
Yeah. Other than that, we got to talk about the rest of the draft. I know we're
Okay.
super excited
Oh,
about
one. Okay.
Travis
One.
Hunter.
One. One last thing. Because literally, I saw even on YouTube video, it was the video was this Travis Hunter fan reacting to Trevor Lawrence highlights, and this guy literally was wearing a Seahawks hat. But so he said he was a Seahawks fan, but he was going to buy the Jags draft hat just because of Travis. And he was watching just some of Trevor Lawrence's plays, and he was like, "Hey, this guy's actually his arm is pretty good, like on paper." So even just the fact that Travis is bringing people from other national landscapes to watch the Jags, I wouldn't be surprised if they get picked for Hard Knocks. That's
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, as very biased and very openly, Jacksonville Jaguar fans, we've heard it all with Trevor Lawrence over the past like 3, 4 seasons for
Trevor.
him.
If
And
now is your time to if you cook this next season, everyone's watching for Travis, and we never and I have to hear no slander for a season. Like
don't let our defense over you for 4 years count for nothing now. Like there
I
may be
invested all this
actual no
stock,
excuses.
and now all the hoes will be watching soon. So. But yeah, I guess now we could talk about the other players that they drafted because yeah, they drafted other players.
Yeah, after trading capital for Travis Hunter, we had to wait till late day three for our next two
So
picks.
yeah, they traded pick 70 to the Lions for basically three third round picks, two of
They
them
really
up.
were going to take RJ Harvey at 72, which is so funny. And then, the Lions, not the Lions, but the Broncos were the one who took RJ Harvey late second, which, is a lot for a 24-year-old running back. But I was also like a big RJ Harvey
I
guy. I
mean,
know
you
you're
were saying
UCF.
RJ Harvey, future Jaguar player,
Yeah, I
so
texted you like before the end of round one, and I was like, God damn it. It's so funny. It was like the most Liam Cohen coded player too. And the analytics and the tape kind of match. Like you can kind of see RJ Harvey in a Jag uniform, but that's not happening. We may see him in Denver.
I'll be right back. You can continue. I'm gonna put the dog out.
Oop, all right, I'm by myself, but you know, that was one of my draft guys. Didn't work out. First and foremost, they did actually take someone for the defensive side of the ball that we were kind of questioning about before the draft process even started. Was Caleb Ransaw, which is a defensive back from Tulane. Not a lot of like people were talking about Ransaw until like after the combine when he tested really, really well. And then of course there were Senior Bowl, uh, which is going to be a theme throughout the rest of this draft class because I think everybody that they drafted
Every
were
single
all in the
person they drafted
scenes.
outside of Travis Hunter played at the Senior Bowl,
God,
which makes sense given that they wanted talented rich players. So guys coming out to an All-Star game and competing, hearing back from the coaches and scouts there. I understand their thought process. Obviously, it may be if it's a few exceptions, only six
Mhm.
rule. But even speaking on kind of Caleb Ransaw, he definitely wasn't the most consensus known guy. So I think it was a bit of a shock seeing him there, especially because listen at corner and I saw him playing more nickel. So our first reaction was kind of
Oh God,
shocking.
another
Like, is
corner.
someone else getting moved? Because the coaches what they've said about him, he's got good speed and he's a very good tackler. So they want to try and winning with safety. And I say it's okay, it makes sense they want to draft the safety.
And the one
Probably
thing that
safety I would have thought they would have picked, but if they put him at safety, then I think okay, I can obviously it's a bit of a transition, but the city played that senior bowl, so
yeah, I was gonna say they were say, hey, can you go play safety real quick? And there was no hesitation. His answer, yeah, let me go play some safety. And those are the kind of guys that they said that they were going after. And we can't wait to see what he looks like at camp. And just to pick after, the Jaguars took more offensive line help with Wyatt Millum as their final pick for day two, which was a left tackle from, sorry. Oh, Jesus. They did not want me to say the words West Virginia. So, yeah, they took a left tackle from West Virginia, but he projects as a interior offensive lineman in the NFL. Probably going to be the left guard, competing with
I
Ezra Cleveland for the
he
spot.
might be the starter. I can't say for certain, but Ezra Cleveland, just know your job is which I Milan was definitely more consensus. I know people were taking about him as a potential guard convert. So the fact that they even said guard made sense. But he had played tackle at West Virginia. So at least they drafted a tackle, who hopefully can. To me, this is probably one of my favorite. It's either my second or third, both behind Travis Hunter, like first or second, but we'll get to that other next pick later. But
Yeah,
I'm really excited that they just drafted Milam consensus. Like they drafted a player I actually like understand. Unlike Fortner, when they kind of was a bit felt more of a reach, and they drafted consensus O line, senior bowl guy who can hopefully play inside, compete. Coaches talked about his grip strength, so a lot of hopefully powerful run blocker. So kind of seeing them wanting to play more of a gap means well, we'll talk about that too with the next pick.
man,
But
I
I
don't
think
think he
want to play
allowed a
more
sack
gap.
last season too. So, hey,
So yeah, man. And the fact that Milam said they're not gonna allow anyone to put hands on Trevor Lawrence. So obviously we'll see on the field, but even just getting more depth in the room and the fact that they were still aggressive adding to the offensive line, I really like that. And that to me, they may have not addressed everything we wanted, but I do think at the very least that they're trying to improve the offense. I see the vision, and I'm actually like I'm kind of excited for not kind of obviously, but no, really excited for this offense. As the offensive line, even at the very least, they just added so many new bodies to the room that they're just gonna try to get the best five out there.
yeah, I mean, better than like bottom three of the NFL would be just any improvement
Yeah.
to what we saw last season. And then we're gonna go to our first two day three picks. Because we were had two early fourth round picks. First we finally added to the one running back room. I mean, we knew we were going after Harvey, didn't work out. Immediately beginning of day two, they go out and get Bayshal Tootin from Virginia Tech, who was the fastest. He just tested really well in the combine. Some people were
Dude, this is
surprised he
going
didn't
to
go
be
late
an
day
insane
two.
amount of speed. Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, Bayshul Tune, De'Ami Brown on the field, and I guess whichever blocker they want to put on like a screen. That's an insane amount of speed. Like you just, as long as, especially if Coleman can just get some great run after catch opportunities, scheme them up, and even we'll talk about the next pick too and how would like the position. To me, Tootin reminds me just of like the vision, the explosiveness, but also kind of in college, Tootin's biggest problem was fumbles. He just reminds me a lot of the fourth round ETN, like another ETN, which granted, if you can get ETN again in the fourth round, that's really good. The fact that they just both have explosive kind of home run hitters, probably best for more of an outside zone, which to me, I'm a little bit that the only thing is I think the offensive line on paper looks to be built for more of a gap power scheme, but Tootin fits more better in an out. To me, Tootin I think is best in an outside zone. Let him plant his foot up and go. Use explosiveness. So I'll see. Maybe they try to just get him on some screens, things of that nature. Well, we'll see how everything goes because I think that Trav ETN in that same kind of manner is probably the same way that you want to use ETN is the same way that you want to use Tootin of just kind of getting these speed guys out on the edge, let them try to make a play in space, break a tackle or two. and takes it a house. And so we'll see just how the room looks as a whole. But overall, I think it's a good player. I mean, just when you get athleticism and production, you take that every time you can in the fourth round. So
Absolutely. Went up to the college ranks. Was it first 3 seasons at North Carolina A&T, and then he had 2 more years at Virginia Tech, and he really showed that speed. And any more home run hitters, the happier I think fans will be because it's more explosive plays, more excitement. Everyone's happy. And then immediately 3 picks later, some people questioned this pick initially, but I kind of see where they go with it. Jack Kaiser, which was a linebacker for Notre Dame, he was there for like he was in
Six
Notre
years.
Dame the
He literally
same,
was
yeah,
teammates with Robert Hainsey,
who was now a like who already
who's been
went
in the
4 years.
NFL for 4 years.
It's crazy. But was a longtime starter for the Fighting Irish. He had like 90 games for them, which is like, was it like 90 games? Was it? It was like something insane.
I
That's
think
like
it was 60 some 60,
60. Okay, that's still like insane for,
but
5-year guy,
I think he's one of the
6-year
all-time
guy.
leaders in games played or something, which considering the program Notre Dame is. I think to me, Kaiser, it I see why they drafted him, intangibly rich. And I'm saying that unironically, just if Notre Dame loves the guy, then the Jags probably for sure would see the same thing too. Because he said to show up to the Senior Bowl even after playing for a national championship 8 days before. And obviously the linebacker room, they declined Devin Lloyd's option, which I think that was more so for money than anything else because you're not going to pay Devin Lloyd that much. Even if Devin Lloyd was pretty good, I don't know if you pay him that much money, but linebacker room is definitely going to own some questions. So I see why they took Jack Kaiser. I think I just was really expecting it to be a pass rusher here. The fact that it wasn't a pass rusher, I said, okay, I was just. But even speaking about pass rusher, the next pick, Gladstone
But
was considering taking at in the fourth round with Jalen McLeod from the sixth round, who's kind of a edge, basically a diet Jalen Walker in a way. I that's the most. I think he had some 8 sacks at Auburn after transferring up from another theme of the players that a lot of them transferred up from smaller schools and went in higher competition, and their production stayed the same. So it wasn't a production only. Their production stayed the same no matter where they went, especially after our competition. That's definitely a pattern. So just even getting with McLeod. We'll see if he can be kind of that third edge. I mean, to me, on paper, it feels as if it. Oh, I guess Abdullah dropped more in college. I was thinking kind of similar to Yusuf Abdullah, but I think Abdullah kind of dropped more in coverage a little bit, where McLeod is more so playing with his hand in the dirt and then playing linebacker.
yeah,
So still closer to the ball, I would say. We'll see if he develops because I mean it'd be nice to have pass rush depth. So hopefully if it pans out, it pans out. No one really knows yet. I'm not crossing my fingers. And then I think the next pick was
Raymond
Ray
Lane,
Lane, the
another
safety.
safety, like a true safety
Andrew
who
Winger, your days are numbered. But a lot of people just said that he's one of the best special teamers in the draft. So the fact that they just got a special teams player, service academy, so high character, intangibly rich, at this point they're
not
really
just
showing their
intangibly
card.
rich. Going into the draft, he was actually the safety that caused the most turnovers out of any other safety in the NFL draft. Caught him in the 6th round. That's hard to translate in the NFL, but still, it's just something worth noting. Like he's one
Yeah,
of the guys that
hopefully.
tries to see ball, get ball type of player.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully he can just be a great special teamer, continue that, and they can just get a cheaper special teamer. So I think just between one of, Winger, Thomas, Antonio Johnson, one of those guys probably gonna have one hell of a training camp fight for those gunner spots. I'm actually pretty excited. Like, I know for Heath Farwell, he's probably really excited just because he now gets another guy to put in the mix of what's already been a pretty good special teams.
Mhm.
So I'm I think even just for special teams alone, getting a good gunner that can also replace one of your other gunners at the same position for cheaper makes a lot of sense because, another roster spot for another player. So this training camp battle will be interesting. And then After that, the next pick was
More offensive line depth. Jonah Monheim.
Luke Fortner. Your days are numbered.
You're just getting rid of your unfavorable Jaguar players on the
I
roster
mean,
now.
I'm just there's coaching. If Liam Cohen, I'm not gonna say that there's no way that this pick is gonna keep him from taking Fortner because maybe Fortner plays better. Just understanding the scheme.
This was the quintessential Tony Baselli. Oh, my guy, USC, longtime starter, all Big Ten, all Pac-12. He's still available to send with me to go get this guy because he played
But
all over the
I'm not
offensive
going to
line.
lie. A lot of his scouting profile is that as he's a center, he's a good mover, but doesn't have great core strength. So I'm just immediately getting Fortner flashbacks. But Fortner as a seventh round pick is a lot better than Fortner as a third round pick. So at the very least, it doesn't look as bad. And hey, he did for what it's worth. He played pretty much every position on the offensive line, similar to Makari. Better, probably better suited as another center. So hopefully we'll see if he can make something out of it. But it's at the very least seventh round flyer on an offensive lineman. You
Yeah.
can't really be upset at it. But it's just not the thing is unlike when Trent, it wasn't the only pick because when Trent even took Cooper Hodges on paper, the investment seemed good. You never really thought due to injuries. But the fact that that was the only investment in the offensive line, unlike this regime where they took a third round and spent a seventh rounder on the offensive line, to me, that's like it makes the seventh rounders at the very least. Like you see the process of, okay, we're trying to at least get more depth on the offensive line. I really respect that, you know? They're seeing a clear thing that needs to be upgraded on the team, and they're trying to improve it just at once for Trevor. Obviously, Tony's been in that room for a while now, talking about offensive line needs to be tougher. So just seeing these things come to fruition, I'm just, like they're actually trying to make an investment now. Not that
Also,
they already have it,
yeah,
but they have six new offensive linemen. The room's gonna have 10 players, and 6% of them is gonna be brand new guys.
maybe.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. Okay, closer to at least 50.
Yeah.
Because maybe we'll see if Monheim makes it. Because maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just goes practice squad.
Yeah,
But
I mean, we'll see for sure. And then our final pick of the draft, they just decided to add more bodies to that running back room
I
too.
think this also might be my favorite. LaQuint Allen, running back slash wide receiver.
Nasty, nasty pass blocker on third downs. That's
Yeah, I
basically
think
his
to
role.
me but not even, he's just a really good pass. He's a pass catcher and pass.
Mhm.
He's a really good third down back in general,
Mhm.
which to me he's just going to be, in terms of a versatile player. I can just even see some formations where they have Cohen start him. Some people were comping him to Rashad White of being the pass catching back and the offense. So we'll see for certain. They had some reps at Syracuse where he was lining up out wide as a receiver. So we know he can do it. So even if Cohen can get creative with him in the screen game, get him some opportunities. To me, I think just between them drafting two running backs, two offensive line, we're starting to see the identity of how they want to play, what Cohen wants to do, and just seeing on paper, you just see the offense start to click and have a vision now. And it just, if the play calling is, once again, even 75% of what it was supposed to be in Tampa last year, and you're getting just a good amount of new play calls. Hopium is so back, bro. I can't believe we're here.
Any interesting UDFAs that you saw? I know we signed like Justin Herbert's brother to play tight end, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah, Patrick Herbert.
yeah,
We'll see because
Patrick
they didn't
Herbert.
draft anybody at tight end, which I thought was surprising. So probably the position they didn't draft anybody at tight end and defensive end, or I guess with McLeod.
And
But even
then
if
after the draft is over, they immediately signed Emmanuel Ogba too. So there's your
yeah, no,
third edge.
I really do appreciate that. Yeah, we got to talk about them signing Ogba literally the day after, which I appreciate just so much because even with Trent, you never saw them go back and try to re-sign a player after the draft. They just
No,
stuck.
it's the fact they also have guys that visit. And then once they visit, oh, nope, they're not going to sign. Oh, Jadeveon Clowney's in the building. oh, we got to return the trash can. No, no, he signs in Baltimore and like kills it with them. This is like,
So
okay, I guess.
I mean, yeah,
Like,
Ogba's got ties with camp. So, even just having a solid third edge, third, maybe fourth to compete, just having another body. Because I remember even when they signed Travis Gibson, I was excited. And then they traded Travis Gibson
they were just
for, I think, the sixth round pick that became Jalen McLeod. So it was good for Gladstone, just bad for Bulky though, that they just would bring a guy in for camp and then the depth actually didn't work out, but then the depth on the team wasn't better. So what was the point? Hopefully
it's
with
like
camp.
trading just to trade, and hopefully now is trading with a purpose. Because guess what? Even after trading all that draft capital for Travis Hunter, we still got 11 picks next year.
Yeah, thanks to the Lions especially. Thank you
Hmm.
for the three third rounders. So they'll have a second and three third round picks next year. So they'll
Yeah.
have some ammo to work with. So man, John, my friend, I can't believe we're actually in the timeline where can you imagine if the Jets don't lose that game and like just but now we're in a time where we have Trevor Lawrence, we locked into Brian Thomas, and now we just drafted Travis Hunter
Yeah.
with a Liam Cohen offense.
NFL schedule release in a week and a half from now.
I can't wait to see when the games are. It's crazy because ticket prices are only going to get more expensive. That's why I'm saying Shad Khan is left. Shad Khan is the biggest winner out of all of this.
May 14th. Oh, that's on Wednesday. Okay. Two and a half week a week and a half from now. Perfect. We'll do something for that, I guess, as our next recording. It's just, just a brief talk, and then
Gonna
we
do
can
the
talk about
schedule. We're gonna
whatever.
do the win-loss breakdown. I already
No,
know.
no, we are not. I
I
I am going, I
So yeah, I
refuse.
have the Jags going 17-0. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
see anything off on
exactly.
the schedule.
No, 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 no. 20 and 0. We're going 20 and 0,
My
okay?
fault, my fault.
Yeah, exactly. But just seeing like how the energy changed between like then and
The
now
aura
is
has the aura has shifted, bro. It's ridiculous. I'm not even exaggerating. It's cool to wear Jags stuff now again, people.
I mean, I'm just a sick on it, wear it regardless, but I guess it's kind of cool wearing Jack stuff again.
Dude, as I said, the Travis Hunter Prowler throwbacks are going to sell. It's going to hit like crack in the 80s, my friend.
I mean, it's the number one selling jersey in NFL already. Like what else
He
can you
hasn't
ask
even
for?
had to throw someone because you will see people not in Jacksonville wearing that jersey.
Yeah,
If if Travis is what he's supposed to be, we're gonna see absurd amount of people wearing this jersey. It's going to be ridiculous. And a Jaguars. When's the last time people have wanted to get a Jags jersey?
exactly. Besides maybe like
It was
Trevor
just Brian
Lawrence.
Thomas last year, and now we have two guys where I think even just Travis as a whole, if they're good, will just make the other players look better because they're gonna be more eyes. So even Brian Thomas Jr. Because people are gonna be watching for Travis, and then they're gonna see Brian Thomas go off for 10 catches and 115 yards and a touchdown, and gonna say, "Wait, this dude's a demon too." It's
I
just
mean, that was supposed to be Trevor Lawrence, and then fucking Urban Meyer and Doug Peterson got their hands on him. Like what are we supposed to
and
do?
just if Trevor, I guess the thing, if Travis is good, then Trevor looks good, and then people will look at Trevor better. Like it just as a whole. It just has the potential to uplift the franchise. And we haven't had that kind of player in, I mean, obviously with Trevor, there's the fact that we have now one player that can even be two, not just, man, it's scary because we'll talk about probably do a full, maybe get when we get some guests who can act on the questions, but at least just on paper, BTJ and Travis Hunter for the next 4 or 5 years with Trevor Lawrence. Like all those guys are under contract for the next 5 years.
Wild.
It's going to be this could be cinema, my friend. We just have to wait and see how the fireworks pan out. But anything else you want to talk about, my friend, before we get out of here? Because we could just talk about Travis Hunter all night, and we wouldn't. This probably would be 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah, we could talk. Yeah, like I said, we joked around before we recorded today that this was just going to be the Travis Hunter circle jerk for an hour. Nothing wrong with that. We love Travis Hunter around these parts, but like, you know, we're excited. I hope it is. Um, I guess I'll just go off and be like, this is the greatest concert I've ever been to. I mean, like, come on, this like Kendrick, SZA, DJ Mustard killed it. Worth spending four figures for to travel to go to Atlanta and do that. So we'll do it again eventually. No, I'm just kidding. I can't do that to my wallet right now. Maybe I need to actually save money for BCB trip this year. Actually,
Dude,
which
we're gonna
is
have to because it's going to be crazy. Ticket prices are going to be all the way up, but it's going to be fun. Like,
we did New Orleans 2 years ago. Maybe we just gotta do it. We gotta do it again. Maybe we'll see.
so yeah, we can talk about that with the schedule release. But man,
I mean,
it's
everybody's thinking Denver, right? I mean, Denver is probably the prime,
that
like
actually for Travis that'd be crazy because the
Colorado.
Colorado
What if
people.
that's a prime? That sounds like a Thursday night game now. God, don't do
I'm
that to
actually kind
me.
of scared to face Denver now though. If it's
But does
no,
the Denver Broncos have Travis Hunter? Does the Denver
right.
Broncos have Trevor
Yeah,
Lawrence?
you're right.
Do they have Brian Thomas Jr.? I don't think so. I'm just we're going way too ahead of ourselves. Hey, I'm trying not to get too excited now, but since we're talking about it, 10 days
We're just
away
off
from
the
the schedule.
hopium. It's but no, man, it's I just remember even as I was going on that ride of Disney, just
hmm
man, we really have Travis Hunter. Like life might change. The whole aura of the franchise has just shifted, and now there's just so much more excitement. It's the fact that they've went around just everything with this off season as a whole has just felt like nothing but pure hope. Like everything is just built little by little, and now it's just at the point where when can training camp get here? I need it so bad. I know rookie mini camp is this Friday, May 9th. So I'm going to aim as much rookie mini camp content as possible. Um, so yeah, because man,
Oh,
we
speaking of
have
Travis Hunter, how could I forget? Shout out to the College Football Hall of Fame. I don't know if you can barely see it, but
oh,
it was right next to the beautiful Heisman Trophy that was there too, because Travis Hunter went on. Just saying. Hitting the Heisman on Tony Baselli on your first press conference was also crazy.
he never changed. And it's just crazy because even for Travis, even the fact that he's just such a celebrity. Because I was watching his YouTube videos the other day, and I'm normally not the kind of player, but I was watching just his YouTube videos. Man has already 500K subscribers. And just that kind of player, that much level of influence. Man, it's
Hey, the kids love Travis Hunter. What can I say? I was
dude, like
surprised
I
too when
just
I saw his YouTube
like
subscriber number
dude,
too.
if they're good, we're gonna have a bandwagon.
Hey man, it's crazy. I
I'm
mean,
I'm actually kind of scared for that now. But hey,
we've already did this in 2017 with Saxonville and all that, so nothing new. But of course, if we have consistent, good football for a long time, then I think it's worth it. That's
I
all we
mean,
really ask for.
if they can just get a consistent passing offense, a really good passing offense, and then a good rushing offense, I think the offense will be okay. And on paper, at least, I don't see why they can't do that. So even just for the passing offense alone, but man, Liam Cohen, if you do this right, you'll forever be a legend. My life is in your hands. Because
We'll
James
see.
Gladstone, I like that guy. It's all up to you now. Gladstone did what he needed to do.
We really got one of our own. I
Man,
mean,
just even hearing
we
the way
are.
that Gladstone talks about Travis
I'm in that.
Hunter.
I'm in that borderline between Gen Z and millennial. The fact we got like a true millennial out there running the Jackson Jaguars is just so fucking beautiful. It's beautiful to see. We got someone that
Can
thinks
you
like us
imagine
running the
telling, dude,
Jags.
can you imagine telling us the day after Shad Khan had that press conference with Trent Baalke that in 3 months we'd had Travis fucking Hunter? Can you imagine telling us that? And you say there's no way you're out of your mind. And even if you would say that, we'd probably say that Balky would ruin him. But he can't. He can't.
You can't. You really can't.
Oh my, Gladstone, you're uh
I guess we'll say it since we go.
so
Who knows who's still watching at this point? But unnamed person that may or may not be close to the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether that's in the front office or ownership or whatever. Apparently they were still in contact with our good old friend Trent John Balky, and after the pick was made, he thought that Travis Hunter was going to be a terrible draft pick. So you know what? I think we made the right decision. If you know we got nothing, we got that.
life really might be worth living again, my friend. This is crazy. I can't
Yeah.
believe we've really come here. Like for especially just as the new stadium is set to open up too, and just how the trajectory of this franchise looks now.
We're
Man,
winning a Super Bowl the year we're not in Jacksonville because of course that's how it's going to happen.
the Orlando Jags winning the Super Bowl would be crazy.
Yeah, that means I just get to stay over for your place whenever I want to go to a game for a night.
See, yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I know. I was like, oh, we just stay at Jabal's place after Jack's game in Orlando. That's crazy.
Liam, Liam Cole, my life is in your hands. But
My life is in your hands. Oh my god. My congestion is fucking killing me. Holy shit. I can't even be super excited about this.
it's okay. Yeah, it's Trent Baalke somehow trying to find you.
Oh, no, tell me the spirit of Trent Baalke is trying to kill me. Not after I saw Kendrick Lamar. Now I gotta see Travis Hunter in a Jaguars uniform. I got something else to be excited about. It's like, damn, Kendrick and SZA killed it. Oh, now I gotta watch Travis Hunter in black and teal. Once that first photo shoot of him in the Prowler is there, I am going to
Tears
take
in my eyes.
tears in your eyes, tears in my pants. What the fuck are you talking about? Not really tears. I'd say that's more of an explosion, right? I'm going to feel so intangibly rich in my pants that it's going to be, you know.
That's one way to describe it.
All right, I think we've done enough Travis Hunter glazing though
Have
for one
we?
day.
Just
Have we?
just for now, just for now, just for
Just
now.
yeah,
We'll come
exactly.
back to it later in about a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, we got a schedule release to talk about. And when does rookie mini camp start?
May 9th.
Oh, so
Okay.
we have a few days. Yeah, we have a few days to prepare for it. So yeah. Other than that, Jabal, you got any final messages? We got our cool like stories about people outside of the Jaguar sphere talking about Travis Hunter. I mean, is there anything else you need to say?
When I was on Marvel Rivals, I was playing a game, and then the other dude in his bio in his game handle was 904. So I asked him, "Are you from Jacksonville?" And he said, "Yeah." And I told him I'm a Jags fan. And then he's like, "Yeah, we got Travis Hunter about to be turned up this year." I'm not trying to exaggerate when I say that the aura has shifted.
People are excited to be Jaguars fans for once. It's absolutely crazy. I just remember sitting in the draft party with a couple of our, Jags Twitter guys, Nubs and Pedro. We were like, bro, how come all these other teams don't take a two-way player that's a superstar of the ball and has won Heisman Trophy? What's up with that? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy. Who doesn't take a Heisman Trophy winner that plays both ways?
Idiots.
I know, right?
Not James Gladstone.
Yeah, but other than that, I think that's our final glazing for real this time. Javal, it's been a long time coming. We should have recorded
What do you
this
mean by
earlier.
that?
Well, yeah, I guess double entendre, right? I did go see a Kendrick show recently, so but other than other than that, I mean nothing else to talk about unless you want to glaze, Travis Hunter some more. But I do need to eat dinner.
All right,
You
yeah,
just
no
ate dinner
worries.
yourself?
We can we'll be back to talk about the schedule at least and talk about how we're going 17 and 0.
Oh yeah, no, 20-0. Remember, we're going
20
20
my
and
fault,
0,
my fault.
20-0. All right. But this is another episode of Jagged Edge. Like, subscribe. I'm actually remembered to say this all for once because the energy has shifted. What else can you say?
The aura has changed.
All right, Javal, have a wonderful rest of your night. Love you, buddy.